Hello and welcome to Untwisted Threads. This is Brooklyn Tweed Arbor. This 100% American Targhee wool yarn features 27 colors. The colorway that we chose is Love It. This 50-gram skein with 132 meters or 145 yards works up as a DK weight yarn. The suggested gauge on a US 5 to 7 or 3 3/4 to 4 3/4 millimeter needles is 21 to 24 stitches per 4 inches or 10 centimeters. For our swatch, I will be using a 4.5 millimeter needle size. In today's video, we're going to review and score Brooklyn Tweed Arbor using our 5 categories, which are availability, softness, traction, durability, and cost, to help you decide if this is the best yarn for you and your next project. Stay tuned until the end for a few pattern recommendations as well. Would you like to see how all of our yarns compare to one another or enter to win our monthly giveaway? Join our free newsletter linked in the description box below. Let's get started. For availability, we give Arbor a score of 4 out of 5. Brooklyn Tweed is a United States-based company that began in 2010 who specialize in natural fibers and using only the American fiber supply chain. This means that designing, sourcing, dyeing, and spinning of their yarns is 100% located within the United States. They also have a fairly large footprint here in the States, with their yarn being sold at a large number of small or local yarn shops. For softness, we give it a score of 3.9 out of 5. I've never felt American wool before, so I was excited for this one. My first reaction was that it had some bounce, but it felt dry. Targhee wool is described as a fine wool that has resilient and elastic qualities with a matte finish. It also has a lively crimp in the fiber, making it lightweight. While working with it, yes, I noticed its dryness, but I could also feel a sense of softness that was just itching to come out. For comparison, it is softer than Cascade Yarns 220 and not quite as soft as Filcolana Peruvian. I'd say it's pretty comparable to knitting for olive merino. For a micron count or softness scale rating, they actually give you the micron count of 23.5, which I honestly thought was a little off feeling the yarn before blocking. Yes, it did soften some afterwards while still feeling a little bit dry, but I still have a slight confusion of how this yarn is advertised to be softer than alpaca or almost a merino. It's not a really rustic feeling, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure that I would give it a 23.5 for softness. Maybe a 24, even a 25. I would describe it as a softer Peruvian Highland wool rather than a not so soft merino, if that makes sense. For traction, we give it a score of 4 out of 5. This yarn has a decent glide, not like Velcro sticking to itself and not smooth like butter. It's round and bouncy, but still a smidge rustic. Now, I'm not saying it was bad to work with, it was just a little on the dry side, not necessarily irritating, but it could be over a long period of time. I would still recommend using a metal or nickel-plated needle for this one, just so your needles don't slow you down with too much drag. For durability, we give it a score of 4.5 out of 5. Targhee wool is described as soft, durable, and lightweight. It is an American breed that was developed in the 1920s that is a cross between 3/4 fine wool and 1/4 long wool, meaning it gives a softness like merino and the durability like a long wool breed. For our stress test, it didn't show any signs of wear fabric to fabric and only a little pilling with it in my hand. And since this yarn is not superwash treated, you will need to be gentle when washing it so it doesn't felt in places that you don't want it to. For cost, we give it a score of 2.1 out of 5. For being a 50-gram skein, you can expect to pay $18.75 US per skein. That breaks down to about 13 cents per yard, meaning a size medium sweater would cost approximately $150. Overall, we give Brooklyn Tweed Arbor a score of 3.7 out of 5. I really love and appreciate the work and dedication that Brooklyn Tweed has gone to make this yarn 100% American wool sourced, spun, dyed, all of it. I know that keeping those processes in the US make this yarn more expensive than most that you're probably accustomed to, but if ethical sourcing is really something that you value, this could be a great yarn for you. For me, unfortunately, the yarn just didn't blow me away enough to justify its price at this time. So we had a little look on Ravelry and wanted to share a few pattern recommendations with you, hopefully to inspire you if you're wanting to use this yarn for a project of your own. The first pattern is Zahavi by Emily Greene. It comes in 9 sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 43 3/4 to 75 3/4 inches and recommends around 10 inches of positive ease. It suggests using a US 3 and 4 or 3 1/4 and 3 1/2 millimeter needle size to meet gauge. The front and back pieces are worked flat from the bottom up. The shoulders are shaped using short rows and joined using an exposed joinery bind-off. The sleeves and collar are picked up and worked in the round. The pattern offers 2 color options of a folded rib cowl and a narrow ribbed band. Instructions are both charted and written out. The next pattern is the Sori vest by the Weststrand sisters. It comes in 7 sizes with finished bust measurements ranging from 32 to 49 inches. It suggests using a US 2.5 and 4 or 3 and 3 1/2 millimeter needle size to meet gauge. It is worked flat from the bottom up with a textured front and rib stitch on the back. Once you reach the armholes, the front and back are worked flat separately. After joining the shoulders, stitches are picked up around the armholes and are finished with ribbing around the edges. The last pattern is Cider by tincanknits. It comes in a wide range of sizes from newborn to a men's 6XL and recommends 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. It suggests using a US 4 and 6 or 3 1/2 and 4 millimeter needle size to meet gauge. It is worked in the round from the bottom up, and the front and back are split and worked flat at the armhole separation. After the shoulders are joined, stitches are picked up and the sleeves are knitted down in the round. It features multiple different types of cables and texture stitches to create this classic sweater. Have you used Brooklyn Tweed Arbor yarn before? What yarn would you like for us to do a review on next? We would love to hear your thoughts and recommendations in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's review, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.